I'm lounging with my misfits.
What up, Misfits? This is your host, Nick Wiggins, with my special guest, Mr. Robert Jenner, somebody I've been knowing for a long time. And we're going to try to discuss about Loki for episode 3, 4, and 5. And we're probably going to try to shoot out some theories what we're going to be on the last episode, because episode 6 is coming up next Wednesday. And it's going to be the last episode for this series. Hopefully we'll get a new season next year or the next season. But anyway, Rob, what you think about episode 3 at first?
Okay, so here's the thing. I watched them all at a bunch. So which one was episode 3?
Episode 3 is when Sylvie and Loki are sort of when Sylvie is introduced. It's the time when they go to that planet. Lamentis, I can never say that.
Lamentis 1.
Yeah, Lamentis 1.
Lamentis 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I have to say, here's the thing. I love science fiction, and I don't just love science fiction, but I love this really cool sort of metaphysical, out there, extra dimensional science fiction. So I have to say, every part of this really appealed to me. I thought female Loki was a really dynamic character. I thought she had great chemistry with Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
And I really thought the idea that they were hiding in apocalypses because these were basically closed timelines was fairly ingenious. I'm on board.
Yeah, it makes sense that when you're going through a new timeline where it's about to be chaotic or chaos and you cannot do nothing about it, it makes sense to hide there instead of hiding somewhere where you can make a problem if it's a calm scene, or if they went back in time to when the dinosaur age is about to extinct, that's the perfect place to hide.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. Or the Great Permian Extinction.
Correct. And looking at what was going on with episode 3, I'll be honest with you, episode 3 was kind of boring to me.
Okay.
But
I mean, there was a lot of character building.
Yeah, that was the whole thing that made the show good. It was just that it was a lot of character building, because you never heard the chance of Loki saying that, when Sylvie said, how about you dating princesses? And Loki said, like, well, how about some princes? And I was like, whoa, Loki, did he just reveal that he's bisexual?
Look, it's not a question of bisexuality. It's not a question of labels. I mean, when you have an aristocracy, when you have people whose entire lives are devoted basically to hedonism, I mean, they're going to get up to some stuff. I mean, there was this, I don't know if you saw this, there was this great movie called Game Over on Netflix, starring the Workaholics. And it was all about, there was this terrorist. It was kind of a riff on Die Hard. And there was this terrorist who was taking this Tunisian sheik prisoner, and in order to humiliate the guy, he has him basically toss the salad of some rando, and the guy does it. The Tunisian Bey just gets in there. I mean, he gets in there deep, and he basically tells the guy, look, I've had sex with 10,000 ladies. You don't think I didn't have a grip about 100 dudes in there somewhere? I mean, when you're rich, you pursue novelty. And here's the thing: Loki sees himself, and Sylvie sees themselves. These are aristocrats. These are people who basically had every privilege imaginable. And maybe that's different in Sylvie's case, because she spent most of her life on the run.
Yeah.
But the fact is, Sylvie probably knows a lot of people on the low side, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's got lots of friends in low places, as the song goes. She's desperate. She's looking for comfort, whatever. You know what? It's a big world. Live and let live. But
but we
probably
also
got up to some stuff.
Yeah, but we also know in Norse mythology, Loki has gone around with a lot of creatures.
For sure.
Yeah, like that. What was that horse? The horse that Odin rides? That was
Sleipnir.
Yeah, that's one of his kids.
Yeah.
Fenrir, the wolf, that's one of his children too.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Hela.
Yep.
Hela, that's one of her children. Well, we're talking about Norse mythology
actual Norse mythology. Not the movie.
The movie. And who else was his child? He had the great snake.
Oh yeah, the Midgard serpent.
Yeah, the Midgard serpent. That's one of his children too. Loki got around with dating a lot of giants.
Well, he's a giant himself. He's a frost giant.
Yeah, he's a frost giant, but we're talking about the giants. Like, what was it? What was it? Jotunheim.
Oh yeah,
they're from Jotunheim.
Yeah,
in Norse mythology.
Surtur.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, people. I don't want to get into all this whole sexual politics thing, but people had different attitudes about Nookie back then. Marriage marriage is basically a political and economic alliance.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, and the thing is, people got with other people independently of whatever their marital status was. As long as you produced an heir, they didn't care what you did.
Well, that's true.
I mean, if you recall, in Renaissance England, one of their favorite pastimes was adultery. And one of the reasons that Shakespeare's plays are so big today is because Shakespeare was not only a playwright, he owned the theater. And he came up with this very interesting innovation called the private box. So aristocrats would go there, they would engage in adultery, they would, pay and get some snacks and get their freak on with somebody else's spouse and have a great time. And that's why Shakespeare's plays are so popular today, as opposed to, say, Christopher Marlowe's or some other guy we don't even know who is just a playwright. He didn't facilitate any kind of a nasty business or whatever.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get back to episode 3. We were dealing with the fact that they were stuck in the planet. They got to know each other a little bit.
Yep.
And then Loki, he does the stupidest thing that you ever think of, was getting drunk in the middle of a catastrophe and get both her and Sylvie kicked out of a dang on train. And then they had to walk all the way to the city in order to get to the Ark, which was destroyed by the time they tried to get there. And that's what I thought about. Like when they got to that point, I was like, this could have been done within 30 minutes. Why couldn't they just? This could have been done within 30 minutes. Why did they have to go through all these hoops to get to this point?
Character building. Building. Not only that, we had to see this. We had to see the scene where Loki. And again, I realize I sound like an apologist for the director or whatever, but I have to tell you, I honestly enjoyed this sequence. But what I felt was going on was that the problem that all the Lokis have isn't just, they always lose or they're bound for failure or they always make these bad mistakes. But the point is that they have this reckless, this addiction to recklessness. They're reckless. They feel they're unstoppable and they can do no wrong. So, when he gets drunk and starts, singing with the audience and gets a little crazy, that's just what Loki does. It's not even self-sabotaging behavior. He's being himself. He thinks nothing can stop him. And even if it can, he's living with what the classical scholars call the full risk of failure. He's going out large. Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, female Loki doesn't see things the same way because, female Loki, she was a fugitive for her entire life. So she's always about keeping a low profile. She didn't have the benefit of an Asgardian, being raised in Asgard and being, the favored child of Odin and getting up to all kinds of stuff. And, she sees the whole situation a little differently. And I think she calls him out. But again, I think this whole sequence, you had this extremely fast paced breakneck situation. Yeah. And they're basically taking a minute to take a breath. They're taking a breath, they're reassessing. And the thing is, the Lokis are dealing with the consequences of his actions because you're pushed off the train in the middle of an apocalypse. You got to walk 5 miles to the next city. Well, you're going to do it. They can't fly. They're not like Iron Man. They can't run super fast like Quicksilver. The Lokis survive on their brains. And when their brains fail them, they have to deal with the consequences. Yeah. And again, the thing is, I do disagree. I really enjoyed that sequence. I thought it was great for the show. Maybe I'm a little biased again because I love these really metaphysical out there things, but I don't find much wrong with the show.
Yeah, I'm the same way but somehow episode 3 just felt like it's like one of those shows. It's like one of those episodes like when you saw with WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's always one episode that's going to be boring, but it's there for the long game because it tells you might miss some details with this boring episode, but once you realize it from the next episode, it's going to catch up on to you.
That's more than fair. Yep.
Yeah. And going back to now, let's go to episode 4 right quick. Episode 4 starts out with the TVA finding out where they are and get them back to the TVA. They're both separate. And then it's almost like to the point where what's her name? The Slayer, what's her name? The Judge Slayer.
Renslayer.
Renslayer. Who is like Judge Renslayer. She's trying to talk to Sylvie, or Sylvie's trying to talk to Renslayer, but it's almost like Renslayer just doesn't care about her. It's almost like she doesn't care about the variant that she sent, that she tried to take away from her family and send her away to somewhere else, but it's almost like she just plain well don't give a damn.
Yeah, look, Rensselaer, she's a cop. Okay. She's all about closing the case. She's not thinking too deeply about the morality of what's going on. It's like if you recall in The Fugitive, okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Richard Kimball is telling Tommy Lee Jones that he didn't kill his wife. Tommy Lee Jones is like, I don't care.
I still got to take you in.
Yeah, that's his job.
Yeah. And then when we get to Mobius and Loki's part, Mobius and Loki, it's almost like akin to Mobius trying to be like, come on, man. I'm trying to work with you, man. But you're killing it. You're killing it. And I might not have no choice.
He's good cop.
And Loki's going like, I don't give a damn. Just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And as long as Sylvie say that you could do whatever the hell you want to do with me. And guess what? They put him in a time loop.
Well, they've seen behind the curtain. You know, at this point, Loki sees how small and how petty and how arbitrary the whole system is.
Yeah.
And at this point, he's like, whatever, dude. You know?
Yeah, and try to and just realize that all of them are variants.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a whole lot of sense for every last one of them. Even though we know in the comics, Mobius is actually a clone of another clone of another clone
of Mark Grunwald.
Yeah,
Mark Grunwald. Yeah,
yeah. That runs the whole TVA, and I would have rather see that, but seeing millions of Mobius, that would probably get on my last nerve. So I'm glad they did all that, did what they had to do.
100%.
But when we saw them going through that time loop, see Loki going through the time loop with Sif, thank God they brought back Alexandria back.
I'd like to see more of her.
Yeah, I wanted to see more of her. They say they're going to put her in Love and Thunder, but we don't know what's going to happen with her because her character was not in Thor Ragnarok, nor was she in the Endgame or in Infinity War. So her character had to be somewhere else.
Yeah, good question.
And hopefully Love and Thunder will explain that. But let's get back to the time loop. The time loop is when she goes like, you will always be alone. And I'm just being like, damn, that's really harsh. But yeah, that's sort of like true a little bit about Loki's. Most time in the end, they always be alone. Even when you put all Lokis together from different time frames or different dimensions or different universes, they are, even though they will be together, they act alone because they don't trust each other or they don't trust themselves.
And they think they're better than the rest of the world. Yeah, they and the thing is, if the thing about the Lokis is they're really, really, really smart. Okay. Yeah. And if you've ever seen any sociological research done on gifted children, you know, they tend to isolate themselves from their peers because there's very little way to relate to them. So
that's true.
Loki is one of those people. He's absolutely brilliant. His culture, the Asgardians, you know, they're so advanced in terms of magic and science and whatnot, and that but you know, at heart, they're just ordinary people. There's not much that really sets them apart from others. They have, you know, lives and wants and needs, and they're kind of ordinary. You know, Loki was adopted from a frost giant. He's different. He's extraordinary. He's had a lot of time to think. He's had a lot of time, and this accounts for all the Lokis also. I should also point out that technically, that prophecy that Loki will always be alone.
Right.
Well, he's fallen in love with essentially the female version of himself.
Correct.
So Loki's finally found a community of those he can relate to. He's finally found his people. He's finally found his Avengers, you know, the other Lokis. These are people that, even though a lot of them don't get along, and if you recall in episode 5, they start fighting, and you know, one of them's an alligator.
I love the alligator Loki.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says.
It's perfect.
They need to do Avengers pet movie and just do.
I think this is a setup for the pet Avengers.
If they do that, I will laugh my ass off.
It's absolutely. But the point is, he relates to these people more than he's related to anybody else in the Marvel universe. He's finally found his niche. Yeah. So in a sense, yeah, he's alone, but hell, we should all be so lucky to be that alone.
Yeah. If we see ourselves, if we can look at ourselves and meet our own selves, yeah, we probably will have our own tribe and such.
For sure.
Yeah. And at the end of episode 4, we see them fighting the TVA, and then finally revealing that the timekeepers are a bunch of robots. Now, in your honest opinion, who do you think is running the strings behind the TVA?
So you're asking me who do I think is ultimately who we're going to see in the castle at the end of episode 5, or who's responsible? Okay. Well, it's either someone we've seen before or someone from the comic books that we haven't seen yet. Correct. So if it's someone we've seen before, my first guess, here's the thing, rest his soul, rest that wonderful man's soul. I would sort of think if they were to go into the castle and if he was still alive, it would be Stan Lee.
Man,
Stan Lee, who's been in every Marvel movie.
If they can bring Stan Lee in, bring Stan Lee in this one, I'll be probably happy and sad and mad at the same time. Well, all my emotions will go out of control.
Oh yeah, they'd have to have a lookalike at this point.
Yeah,
but again, so he's or maybe the Watchers. Maybe this whole thing is the Watchers.
Yeah, I would think so too. Or maybe Kang the Conqueror, even though he's supposed to be in episode. He's supposed to be in Ant-Man Wasp Quantumania.
Yeah,
this would be, even if it was a cameo, maybe even if it's a 5-second cameo, it will make it will make sense for him to be there. But there's there was another theory that I will get to when we get to episode 5. Okay, so let's go string around to episode 5. We see them at a different universe. We see Loki being pruned to a different universe, which is when I think this is when Loki actually. This is when the world is actually going to end, or I don't know what was going on.
I'll tell you what happens is these are the remains. If I understand it correctly,
right.
These are the remains of other realities that have been discarded to a point in the timeline at the end of time.
Yeah.
They're not proceeding a void. Exactly. Yeah. A void, a timeless void at the end of time where events don't really proceed. They just sort of stay there and stop. So correct. All this discarded rubble, all these variants, all the garbage that was accumulated as a result of creating their perfect timeline is put in this spot.
And there were so many Easter eggs on those spots.
Huge. The Thanos copter.
Yeah.
Thanos copter. Yeah.
Yellow jacket helmet.
Oh my God, I saw that. Yeah.
The Avengers Tower. There's also we saw Mjolnir, and we saw
Frog Thor. Or
yes,
Thor,
we saw Frog Thor. Yes, I was like, where? I said, man, is Frog Thor is in this? Can you do an episode with him?
He's just be sitting in a jar thinking, how do I get out of this jar?
Yeah, he should be saying, how dare you? Where's Mjolnir? And do all that such. But I thought it was cool to see all the Lokis.
Oh, for sure.
One. Yeah, and seeing Kid Loki when he said, I killed Thor, that's why I'm the king. I'm like, damn, I said, who's this little bastard?
Kids are hard. Notice he has the same costume as young Loki in the comics.
Yes, it is.
It's really good attention to detail.
Yeah, it's almost as close to it. And then when we saw classic Loki, I was like, yes.
Oh, and the perfect actor, Richard E. Grant.
Yes,
this guy's the real deal. He is 100% legit.
And we already seen Richard E. Grant in another Marvel film. He was in Logan.
That's right, he was. Technically, that wasn't a Marvel film, though. That was still part of Fox at the time.
Yeah, it's a Marvel Entertainment, but it's Marvel Entertainment, but still X-Men.
Yeah, fair. So, and it is going to be apparently canon now.
Yeah, hopefully, if they do make it, maybe for some strange reason, I feel like this Loki, WandaVision are sort of connected. It's going to inculate in Spider-Man No Way Home and
I agree.
Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because the whole point is every last one of them is dealing with a nexus point. And since one is a nexus, she's gonna find a way to control or reshape reality. Versus when Loki, he's trying to figure out he's a variant from a different time, from the timeline of when the Avengers defeated him in Avengers, the first
original movie.
The original movie, but somehow in Endgame it messed up because he wound up taking the Space Stone and he winds up going somewhere else. So he's a different variant. So that means that everything else is going back to according to plan, except for him. So the question is, was this whole thing, was he meant to escape that moment, or was he just another variant that made that nobody didn't see that coming?
Well, that's a good question. So what you're asking basically is that is he so I guess so what you're saying is Loki fated to die.
Yes.
That's part of this. I think the idea that all the Lokis die and all the Lokis are victims of their own hubris is part of the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
The idea that this particular Loki escaped. But the thing is, this particular Loki escaped. Well, here's the thing. Rensselaer actually said that the time travel events in Endgame, I think it was Rensselaer, that this was supposed to happen, that this was how it was supposed to unfold. But so the thing is, so Steve Rogers fighting Steve Rogers and Loki capturing the Tesseract and all that stuff, you can argue that this was sort of planned. So maybe there is an element inside the TVA that is trying to rebel against the timekeepers, against whoever's actually behind it.
Correct.
So this was sort of a virus in the system, like Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah.
They and then the whole point of this is someone planted this because they're trying to, bring it down from the inside. So this particular Loki, yeah, maybe he's not a variant in the strictest sense. He's not the result of a cosmic accident. He's the result of an intentional plan by somebody else who's pulling the strings. Maybe it's Wanda. Maybe this is what Wanda's doing in her living room at Mount Wundagore.
Maybe it is Wanda, but I get the feeling that when we get to the multiverse of madness, or we get to Spider-Man No Way Home, we're going to see what kind of power or what something is ruined, what's going on with the multi-universe. And that way the MCU, this probably be a better chance to introduce us to the X-Men, bring the X-Men from the Fox universe and bring them to this universe.
Not just that.
Yeah, that could be easily that. But then again, I would prefer them to do a new X-Men movie with a new cast and everything else with everybody else, because that way we don't. I mean, as much as I love to see Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine, I think Logan was a great send-off for him.
Sure was.
And I
totally was.
I just don't want them to ruin that.
You can't do better than Logan, honestly. I mean, it was so good. Logan, honestly, Logan's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Yeah,
Logan's probably the best movie out of Logan and X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men 2 and Deadpool 1 are
and
the
Wolverine.
best.
The Wolverine is very good.
The Wolverine. Everybody gives the Wolverine is like I'll be honest with you, the Wolverine is like a meh movie, but it's almost like okay, it's still good though.
I think part of it is that I knew the approach that the Wolverine was taking. I knew where the director was going with this. I don't know if you're not a child of the 80s, I'm pretty sure.
You're right.
But there was an author named Eric Van Lustbader, who always made these sort of, glitzy Japanese, these stories of this guy who goes to Japan, is involved in all these kind of shenanigans. And, there's a lot of corporate stuff going on. And then there's, he confronts the bad guys in an ancient samurai village, and there's ninjas and there's all kinds of this techno stuff going on. And yet the whole thing is like an Eric Van Lustbader novel, in my opinion. I think that's
okay.
So the thing is that I appreciate the approach that the Wolverine was trying to take, and I think they did a really excellent job. So maybe I'm a little biased when I say that I really enjoyed the Wolverine.
Yeah, they were trying to do like more of a both the Wolverine and Logan were like Western films.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate them. I appreciate what James Mangold was trying to do with both films, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So we get through episode 5. They get to they meet up with the Void, the Beast of the Void, and they
Alioth.
Yeah, and
then
you also see classic Loki be as powerful as he has made the biggest illusion that he ever made, which was Asgard. And I'm like, if this classic Loki is this powerful, what is the other Loki? Is the other Loki that powerful as him?
The thing is, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm kind of getting the impression. I got the impression where they said, well, maybe we're stronger than we think they are. The TVA, I'm kind of reminded of the way that Professor X and Magneto, proactively kept a lid on the powers of Jean Grey. So she wouldn't consume the earth or whatever it is. And so maybe the TVA identifies Loki as somebody really, really dangerous. However, they never really explain exactly how just an ordinary frost giant is so obscenely powerful, other than, he studied magic, that's cool.
Yeah, and another thing is, why does the TVA have all those Lokis in the void? Why is it just Lokis in the void? Instead, well, besides Mobius, because we saw classic Loki, we saw Kid Loki, we saw Warrior Loki, we saw Alligator Loki, we saw vote for Loki president, which was awesome, especially when he gets his hand bit off by the alligator. He was like, what the hand?
That was brilliant. I'll tell you why. No, they explain it in the show. You know, everything from all of reality is dumped in this void, and a lot of them are simply eaten by Alioth, that creature. Okay, so but the thing is, I think one of the other Lokis makes the point to Loki Prime or Loki Alpha or whatever. Is the idea that we're Lokis, we survive. Our key trait is our ability to survive. So there may be other temporal variants running around or hiding, but a lot of them got eaten by Alioth. But the Lokis found a way. They found a rock to hide under. They found a way to survive, and not just Kid Loki and classic Loki and big beefy hammer Loki, but who turned traitor, but also all these other Lokis, who are like these roving bands of Lokis who, led by President Loki. And again, Loki survived. That's their deal. I think that's the TVA underestimates not just his power, but his cunning.
So that means is Loki a bigger threat of the Marvel universe that anybody will ever think of?
See, not necessarily. I think this goes back to my idea that I think somebody is behind Loki. Somebody is using Loki as a proxy to get at whoever's in the castle. And I have a theory that literally just occurred to me while we've been talking. Would you like me to explain? Or do you want me to save it to the end?
We're almost to the end anyway.
Okay.
So Sylvie and Loki, they go to the castle. They saw the castle. They go in through the portal. Question is, what is the castle or the house it is, and what is the purpose of it? And
I'll tell you,
there was an ideal that there was a theory that's going around, and it was they said that house is the house of ideals.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, that means that the resonance of that house is the one above all, and then and now.
Yeah.
So those are the presents that's supposed to be there, and I think that make a lot of sense. Hell, a lot of sense.
That's well, I agree, but I think I have another idea.
Okay.
If you'd like to entertain.
Sure.
Okay. So my theory, I'm going back to what I said earlier. My theory is that Wanda, in her living room, she hears the voice of her children, calling out to her. Her children are somehow real. Okay. Right. So she wants to get her kids back. All right. Correct. So this whole plan is Wanda activating Loki, using Loki as a pawn, manipulating events, putting him into the system in order to bring down the TVA. Okay. And who do I think is in the castle? Note the architecture of the castle. Note how it's sort of its classical features, how it looks. Well, it looks like a castle. Now, if you recall from the Young Avengers miniseries in Marvel, is that it turns out the person who was really behind manipulating Scarlet Witch and House of M, the person that was really messing with her head in order to create a massive sea change in the Marvel universe to redirect reality to fit it the way he wanted, Dr. Doom.
You know what?
It was Dr. Doom. This is Wanda versus Dr. Doom, with Loki being used as Wanda's pawn to get in the cat as a proxy.
Yeah, that would make a whole lot of sense. I want to know who Doom is.
Dr. Doom. It's
they
better have somebody top shelf. Somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's got to be somebody who has that charisma. You know who make a good Doom?
Hit me.
Michael Fassbender.
He's already Magneto, though.
Yeah, but still, though, he'll still make a great Doom.
He'd make a great Dr. Doom, but he was already Magneto. In fact, if Marvel's smart, they're going to bring him back as Magneto when they're doing the Marvel X-Men.
Yeah, that would be smart. But at the same time, I would love to see Michael Fassbender as Doom. It makes sense in my mind. It makes sense.
I agree. It makes good sense, but I think, and again, it's a lot like using Chris Evans as Captain America when he was already Johnny Storm.
Yeah,
so making Fassbender as Dr. Doom would be a great idea. The point is are they going to do anything with the X-Men movies? Are they going to be canon? Are they going to be bringing back any of these other Fox X-Men characters as Marvel characters? So that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, as a I mean, like it would be good. It would be nice because you already established the X-Men. You already have
Right.
them. But the
Right.
thing is, how do you establish them in the world that already exists with the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And you already have they already doing Miss Marvel, so that means Inhumans do
Mhm.
exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Even though we did saw that debacle, oh god, that was a horrible show. That was a horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inhumans, how did they get? I don't know who Jeff. I think who was it? Jeff Loeb, and who else did it? The guy who's running Iron Fist. They made the show bad. This
I think Disney is systematically sort of sidelining all of its TV properties. Like first, Agents of Shield just kind of gets pushed to the side, and now
Yeah.
all the Netflix series are getting sort of pushed to the side, and
yeah,
Inhumans is kind of getting pushed to the side.
like
And
behind
this
the closet,
right
lock it up, blow it up.
because now we have the Disney Plus TV shows, which
Sure.
star the stars of the actual films.
Yeah,
So these they're sort of, and this is the thing is you got to understand the beauty of this is that this is what Marvel Comics have done for 50 years. Every time they have a plot line or they have an idea, they don't really get rid of it like DC does, where they blow up the universe every 5 years. They just sort of they just sort of sideline it. They just sort of shift it to the side. And if
until
they want to
give,
use until they find a use for it, until they
Yeah.
decide to bring it back again,
Yeah.
until they decide to sort of redo it.
I've kind of, what, I still put Agents of Shield with the Marvel Cinematic Universe because we did have Coulson, we did have Nick Fury wasn't in 2 or 3 episodes in the first season.
Yeah.
Lady Sif was in the episodes too. So
Yep.
I feel like they're still part of, and they talked about Thanos and all that. So I feel like, and they had the Kree. So they still part, I feel like they're still part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just that nobody doesn't know about it because of the fact that they kept it so much of a hush secret.
Yeah, they are a covert organization.
Now they're a covert organization, but it'll make a lot of sense that if Coulson shows up in a Marvel movie and with Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury, and then we would be like, yes, the Shield does still exist. But that does make a lot of sense. But when I was hearing that theory about the House of Ideals, that made a whole lot of sense to me. And the thing is, who do you think could play One Above All? And for some people who don't understand that, One Above All is how can I put this on? Sorry, he's God, basically God of the Marvel Universe. So that's who he is. He's just God. And then and now are the essence or presence of things that come, things to become, and things that are happening right now. And
I would probably cast someone who strongly resembles Stan Lee.
Yeah, I would cast, because if Stanley was still alive, God bless his soul, if he was still alive, he would be One Above All.
I got it.
Who?
Tom Hanks.
You know what? That makes a whole lot of sense.
Here's the thing, because Tom Hanks already played Walt Disney.
Yes, that makes a whole lot of sense.
He's already the one above all, in terms of the Marvel universe. Because so Tom Hanks.
You know who else I thought who should be One Above All?
Hit me.
Keanu Reeves.
Ooh, okay. Just because he's a good actor, or he's just
I mean, he's
Neo, or he's busy.
Yeah,
he's a busy man though.
Everybody from Warner Brothers to Disney, they've been begging this guy to be in one of these comic book films because they know that he has the chops. Ever since John Wick, he has the chops. But I feel like if he does the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he needs to be in a settled role. Nothing too action bad. And I feel like One Above All, or even voice one of the Watchers, it would be nice for him.
It would be nice, but I mean, why would he want to play a bit character? It just seems a little bit
too much.
It seems a little bit extreme to get Keanu Reeves, who is busily filming The Matrix 4
and John Wick 4
and spent like months filming voice ports for Cyberpunk 2077. It just seems this is a guy with a lot on his plate, and he doesn't really have a relationship with Disney. Again, to bring him in as a bit character just seems a little bit. I don't think Disney could justify the expense to do that.
Yeah, and I don't think Disney or Marvel Cinematic Universe will go to that big go really big with the one above all, because that'll confuse a lot of people.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people with religion, they will be like, this is dumb. But there's been plenty of actors who play God, and
Okay.
it made a whole lot. There's been
But he was very
actors,
family. He was a very family friendly, non-denominational God.
yes,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. This is a God who's basically he's God according to the Marvel universe. You know,
Yes.
they're letting the Marvel universe define what creates this, what constitutes the supreme being. And I
Yeah.
can see that maybe being a little offensive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I can see that, but without them going to the Christianity religions and all that stuff, they need to figure out how to bring the one above all into this world where, you know,
I think they're going to
Wait,
start
it makes
smaller
sense.
with. I think they're going to start smaller with like the Living Tribunal.
you know what? That's
or,
another Easter egg.
Was it?
Because Living Tribunal, they said the head of the Living Tribunal was in episode 5. We have to go back look at it, but
I'm gonna have to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, they said he was in the, and I looked at it, I said that doesn't make sense. That's his head. But then again, when I looked at it, I said that is his head. That's the Living Tribunal. So
See?
Living Tribunal actually exists in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Here's the thing. He did, because apparently now he's dead. That means somebody basically climbed over the Living Tribunal, cut his head off, and took the place of who is in charge. Who would have the chops to do that? Dr. Doom.
Oh yeah, he would do that.
Yeah, there was an issue of What If that basically had Dr. Doom defeat the Celestials. He fought them for like 10,000 years, but he finally became the ruler of the universe. And at that point, he's like, man, what do I do now? You know, I feel like Thanos. I lack purpose. Now what? So he goes back to recreate humanity, basically.
The way he wants it.
Well, I mean, yeah, not just the way he wants it, but I think at the end of the issue, there were superheroes and people who stood against him. And he's like, you know, this is the way it should be, you know, because if it's too easy, it's not Doom. You know, Doom doesn't do easy.
Yeah. What if the end of the episode is another Loki, but this Loki is like a combination of,
oh, snap.
That would
What if it is?
Yeah, what if this time this is a Loki that we have? Okay, let me put it like this. What if this is old man Loki?
Yeah.
We already saw classic Loki with Richard. Yeah, even though Richard Richard is old.
He's not young.
Yeah, he's not young either.
Yeah,
what if this is old man Loki, the one who defeated all the Avengers and defeated almost every villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And, not Cinematic Universe, this defeated everybody on Earth.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
Okay. What if it is old man Loki? Okay. What if this is like, do you remember the episode of Justice League Unlimited?
Yes.
Where Superman went into the far future and he encountered Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage was the last person on Earth. But here's the thing. Vandal Savage wanted Superman to go back in time and to fix the mess he created because he's lonely, because he'd achieved all he wanted to achieve and it just wasn't worth it. So say young Loki and girl Loki meet old man Loki, and old man Loki says, I brought you here because I want you to destroy everything I've created.
That would make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. But see, now who's going to play old man Loki? Like aged Tom Hiddleston or Anthony Hopkins? Or, you know.
It would be nice to see Anthony Hopkins.
It would, but I guess he'd already played his dad. So, I mean, why would he want to look like his dad? Well, I mean, he did actually transform into his dad in the Thor movies. So I don't know. Point is, old man Loki. I think you're onto something. I think that's an excellent idea. I think it's something Disney would totally do. Is old man Loki wants to destroy everything that he created.
Because, and if they could bring back Chris Hemsworth as old man Thor.
Sure.
And
old lady Sif.
Yes, and we could have like, I know this is part of Thanos. Comic book, but they could have old man Hulk as a pet to Loki.
Ooh, as his guard dog.
Yeah, because it'll be like a little revenge for all the times that Loki was pulled through Hulk.
Here's the thing, Alioth. Okay,
mm-hmm.
What Alioth is a big purple cloud with a face that just says that's Galactus. That's the Galactus from the Fantastic Four movies. God. Old man Loki took over Galactus, basically leashed him and put him to work. You know, doing his dirty business.
If that was Galactus in the end, I will be shocked.
Right. So basically, when Alioth is set free, when they decreate that timeline, when young Loki succeeds, Alioth turns into Galactus. He's like, finally I'm free. Time to eat some planets.
All Ethan. What does he eat? Negative matter? I thought he eats negative matter.
He consumes planets for stuff.
For substance.
For sustenance. I don't know exactly what he's eating.
Yeah.
In fact, they never made that clear. Maybe it is negative matter.
Yeah, I think because when Galactus is created, he needs to eat in order to live. He needs to eat planets in order to live, and he needs to eat planets in order to sort of like he's sort of like Thanos as a balance of the universe. But it's kind of like you come into Earth, you try to eat it up. That's a problem because everybody on Earth is going to try to come at you hard and fast.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Reed Richards has the ultimate nullifier.
Yeah,
which is the only thing that could defeat Galactus. What if that's what Old Man Loki has? And he gives the ultimate nullifier to young Loki, and he says, "Undo what I've done."
If he has the ultimate nullifier, that means the Fantastic Four actually exists. Well, we're supposed to have the Fantastic Four, but we don't know we're going to have them in Phase 4 or Phase 5.
Disney is going to bring it back because they own Fantastic Four. Not to utilize Fantastic Four, leaving money on the table. The thing is, Fantastic Four is just hard to visualize. It's hard to bring in. It's hard to imagine where they'd fit. But Disney's going to make it work somehow.
What if we make them like? Hold on, this is my theory.
Yeah.
What if we do the Fantastic Four the same way they did with Steve Rogers, Captain America?
Sure.
Like this, they were in this. Let's just say this. This is my theory. Fantastic Four: Reed Richards, Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, and Ben Grimm. They all were astronauts, but they were astronauts in the 60s.
Perfect. I love it.
And then they go up in space, and they get into cosmic radiation. But the cosmic radiation had made them go into a hyper sleep or a hyper sleep and all that stuff.
They bring them through the negative zone.
Yeah, the negative zone. Yeah. And then puts them through a sleep, and then puts them through a sleeping stage. They come back from the negative zone, and when they land
or maybe time is simply not consistent between our world and the negative zone. So when they come back to the negative zone, 50 years have gone by.
Yes, 50 years. 50 years. 50 years have gone by.
Yeah, or hypersleep or whatever.
Yeah, no hype. And they're here at our time. On our time, and it's like Reed Richards and Susan Storm. They're like a team. They're like the Fantastic Four are a team that's out of time, but they understand what's going on. They understand this is their home, their Earth, but they don't understand the timing. And some of them they get to the point where they sort of understand what's going on. They understand how the world changed, but they don't have the familiarity or what Steve Rogers had, the fan base, like he had, they had
the notepad with all the stuff that he needs to look up.
Yeah, and they don't have, and you see the Avengers come in and they say, "Who the hell are y'all guys?" Yeah, and then when they tell the story, and then somehow I think Thunderbolt Ross he'll say this is them back in the 60s. This was a secret. This was a secret part and all this stuff. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Von Doom shows up because Von Doom I would say Von Doom was either one of the astronauts that was still the negatives that became missing in the negative zone, or he was on Earth, but he was on Earth because he couldn't go in space. And then Richard,
or he's at the end of time.
That could make sense too.
Here's the thing. Let me add a layer. a layer. I like where your head's at, but let me add a layer to this. Okay. Maybe we keep Von Doom separate. I don't know. The point is, I'm not trying to disrespect your idea, but so what if, the Fantastic Four, after 50 years, the Fantastic Four shuttle comes back, crash lands on Earth. They recover the Fantastic Four, but their memories are all scrambled. They don't know what happened. All they know that they've been gone for 50 years. Here's the thing. They try to reintegrate into society. Captain America's like, well, it was a bit of a struggle Captain America's gone. So maybe not that. Bucky tries to help them. Reintegrate society. Here's what's changed. So here's the thing. They have all these weird memories and all this confusing stuff. And they don't know. They have these flashbacks from the negative zone. And the thing is, long story short, they've come back to warn the Earth about Annihilus.
Oh, that would be good.
And it's the whole Annihilation storyline, and the Fantastic Four is the only thing that can warn the Earth about the coming of Annihilus.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the Guardians
Thank
of the
you.
Galaxy can get involved.
Absolutely. The Guardians of the Galaxy get involved.
Doctor
there's
Strange,
that
Captain Marvel.
Nova.
If
The
we
last
can actually
survivor
get
of Xandar.
if we can actually get a Nova story, I will be happy.
Yeah.
They just need to have a Nova. They just need to do a Nova TV show. That would make perfect sense.
Sure, that'd be good too. But they need John C. Reilly. They need John C. Reilly as Nova. Okay.
Yeah, I understand that they need Riley, but I also think that they need that. What's the new kid? Who took the mantle? No, I know I forgot his name.
There was Richard Rider, who was the old one, and then they got this new guy who was kind of like this. He was kind of he was kind of a squirrely little prick, and I wasn't really fond of that whole storyline.
Yeah,
but I mean, Robbie something.
I think Joey Robbie Reyes.
Robbie, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
But that would be good because you know what? You already got the young Avengers about to be introduced. You might as well.
Yeah, all right.
Think about it.
I could see that. I could see that.
We've seen it in both Loki. Because in Loki too, because Sylvie, she's originally supposed to be she's supposed to be a child.
Yeah.
For the comics, she's supposed to take up the mantle Enchantress.
Right.
Now that's what I think that's what's going to happen in Loki.
I agree.
Sylvie, I feel like Sylvie's going to find a way to get into the same universe as Loki is, and she's going to become Enchantress instead of another Loki.
I agree. That's a great storyline because the original storyline for the Enchantress is she's Amora, and it's like that's a little too cartoon, you know?
Yeah,
it's a little too. Yeah.
Well, hold on. There's another theory I have about Sylvie, though.
Oh, hit me.
What if Sylvie was originally in the timeline with Loki and Thor in Asgard?
So she's their sister.
Their other missing sister.
So that kind of
they found a way to in the TVA they went in and they reset the whole thing to make everybody not remember that she was part of that family. I know it's a far-fetched, but it sort of makes sense to me.
Wiggins, it's not far-fetched. That's not what I'm worried about. I don't think Disney is quite ready for incest because Loki and Girl Loki are kind of having a thing. I don't think Disney is quite ready for the incestuous angle.
Oh, that would be messed up.
You see, it would be kind of
That would be messed up.
It would be a little
ouch. Ow. That would hurt.
If they are literally sisters. I mean, if it's one thing if she's a Loki from an alternate universe, she's simply a different frost giant who was the daughter of Laufey, or maybe not Laufey. Maybe okay, you know what? I don't know. Let's just see what they're going to do with it. I don't know. I don't want to get it. It's like brothers and sisters and okay. All right. Moving on.
I understand. No, I understand.
Yeah.
No, I know that's far fetched, but
I'm a neckbeard. I'm a neckbeard, but I'm not a neckbeard who's into incest porn. Okay. Yeah. I'm the non-incest porn neckbeard. Yeah.
Hold on one second. Let me turn on the lights so that.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so that was my sort of like my theory for this book.
It's not a bad theory. No, it's a good theory. I mean, I just again the whole incest angle is the thing. I'm just not 100% sure Disney is ready for the incest angle because here's the thing: Ryan Reynolds and Disney are apparently butting heads a great deal over the fact that Deadpool is supposed to be rated R, and Disney has all these ideas about making him more family friendly and all this stuff, and he's like, "No,
you cannot make guys. I don't know why Disney. Look, I understand because Disney they just want Deadpool part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, for the record, just sorry to interrupt. Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds are apparently getting along like a house on fire. Kevin Feige,
he's getting along with him. They're getting along with Hugh Jackman. Of course, they want to do a Hugh Jackman. They want to do a Wolverine Deadpool movie. That would be so awesome. But if they do that Deadpool 3, that would be so awesome. I can wait another 5 years for that. But
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt earlier. Yeah.
No, that makes a whole lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. But at the same time, could they possibly do a PG-13 the Deadpool? Of course they can.
Shut your mouth, bro.
I know. No.
No.
I understand that.
Unclean.
I know it's unclean. I understand that.
Yeah.
But the possibility of them doing a PG-13 Deadpool is a possibility. But the way that Ryan Reynolds and the cast and the producers and Fox have been running Deadpool, Deadpool has to still remain rated R.
They did do Once Upon a Deadpool.
Yeah, they could do that. They could do that for,
but they'd have to make an original. They'd have to make the original that was R rated.
Yeah,
they can't. Yeah, they can't do us like that.
Yeah, they could do two. If they could probably release two different versions in movie theaters. They could do one version of him rated R, and they could do another one that's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe in PG-13.
Yes,
that will make
good with that. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Yeah,
they just gonna have to find a way how to edit both movies, how to edit it into two movies.
Like I said, they did Once Upon a Deadpool, so I mean they can do it. That people we're prepared for this eventuality.
That means we want to hear what the shit is this?
Well, they'll make us watch both movies.
You know what? That will
more money. Boom.
Yeah,
Disney dollar.
Yeah, that
Disney
will make money. Us more. That will make them more money. That will be great.
Yeah. Disney loves money.
Yes, they do. So, what do you think is going to happen to episode 6? This is going to be the last episode for Loki.
Okay, I'm good. There's going to be a lot of exposition, much like Neo and that the controller, the white, the really, they do the white suit and the white mustache. And there's going to be a bit of exposition where either Old Man Loki or Doctor Doom has this whole, they do this whole interactive thing where there's this all hologram, and Loki and girl Loki, they're holding hands, and old Loki's explaining all the war between the multiverse and all the various aspects of creation and the Celestials, and it's basically Dance Apocalyptic by Janelle Monáe. Everything's going crazy, and Loki said, and some of us decided that we had to put a stop to it. Some of us decided that we simply, maybe there's sort of an outline of various people, like maybe there's an earlier version of Loki, an earlier version of the Scarlet Witch, an earlier version of, I don't know, Doctor Doom, an earlier version of
X-Men,
the X-Men, or the Guardians of the Universe, or Kismet, or Eternity, and Aegis, and all these cosmic beings. We decided that there had to be a way to stop. There had to be a means to stop the universes from destroying each other. So we decided hold on, mind just blown. Loki explains to young Loki and Lady Loki basically that they did a Crisis on Infinite Earths. Okay.
Oh,
and they're doing a Marvel version of the Crisis on Infinite Earths where they collapse the multiverse. And it's not Crisis on Infinite Earths because that's DC. They're doing a spoof. They're doing a spoof of it, and they created, and Loki, old Loki, is there to monitor the timeline to make sure that no variant timelines occur. But he says that they went too far. We need to create. They want to do maybe he's like, we need to create our version of the New 52, or we need to.
Well, they do have the upcoming What If Marvel. What if TV show coming out next month.
This is going to be a direct sequel. They're going to talk about all these new timelines that are created as a result of what goes on in episode 5 of Loki. That's my theory.
Damn.
Speculation, grain of salt.
You know what? That makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you very much.
It's like I said, my theory was with either, there's two things, like you said, yours with Old Man Loki, which I have a theory about Old Man Loki.
Well, it was our theory.
It was our theory.
You came up with a theory. I refined the details a little bit.
Okay.
My theory was Doctor Doom. Mm-hmm. And so maybe, but I'm kind of getting selling myself on this Old Man Loki idea. Sorry to interrupt. Go.
And another thing is, I feel like Renslayer is behind the whole thing.
Ooh.
But she's sort of behind it, but she's sort of like the passenger. She's sort of like the driver. It's somebody who's controlling her.
Right.
And the person who I think is controlling her is Kang the Conqueror. Because remember, Renslayer and Kang the Conqueror, they had a relationship in the comic books.
Yeah. Ooh.
So it makes sense that
my God.
What's his name? Jonathan Majors. He shows up as Kang the Conqueror in his costume. Hopefully he'll show up in the Kang the Conqueror costume, not the Ramatai costume. God, that would be horrible.
Or the Immortus costume.
Oh God, if he does that, I will probably punch the hell out of somebody who did this.
The thing is, what if Immortus? Okay, I'm getting another idea. Hold on. You know how in the comics, Kang the Conqueror and Immortus battled for thousands of years and thousands of timelines so Kang the Conqueror could separate self from Immortus, which
Right.
is apparently his future self. What
Correct.
if we're seeing that here? What if Kang the Conqueror is the one who put Loki in play, and Immortus is the one who's controlling the timeline? But Immortus wants. Okay, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that
you see where I'm going. Yeah.
no, I understand what you're saying. It's sort of like they're pitting against which universe is better.
Yes.
And
yes.
I feel like that will be probably the end results, but I also feel like if Kang the Conqueror is probably him, is in the master, he's the master controller of all this.
Mhm.
I feel like he might. This is what my theory is with the Young Avengers. You're probably gonna see. We already see Wiccan, and we already see Speedster, whatever the kid name is,
Mhm.
in WandaVision.
Yep.
And we already see Young Patriot in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm.
And we got Sylvie, who's supposed to be originally a teenager, that's originally with the Young Avengers.
Mhm.
And if you bring Kang the Conqueror in, there's
Iron Lad.
Yeah,
Iron
that's
Lad.
Iron Lad. And then here's another. We got Hawkeye coming up. With Kate Bishop. I feel like they're really setting up the Young Avengers for the next cinematic universe.
And Cassie Lang is 5 years older.
Yes.
Yeah. Cassie Lang. What's Stature? Yeah. So yeah, dude, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely what they're doing.
Yeah, if they do that, that would lead to Ant-Man and Quantumania. You know, that will make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, Cassie Lang. They need a new. Well, maybe they use the same actress. See, I don't know.
They use a different actress.
Yeah, but Cassie Lang is now of age, so she'd be part of that too. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they're setting up the Young Avengers.
And then with what's his name? And then with Ms. Marvel TV show coming up, they could have her set up with the Young Avengers. That will make a whole lot of sense. They have a team called the Young Avengers. But at the same time, I hope they try to explain how Ms. Marvel can get her power, because we know she's an Inhuman. So the thing is, will they introduce with Ms. Marvel? Will they introduce the Inhumans that we saw in the previous TV show, or are they going to introduce a new Inhumans with new characters? Well, I mean, not new characters, but new actors playing Black Bolt, Medusa, and all of them.
I don't know. I can't answer that. We have not yet seen Marvel retconning its own stuff yet.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me put on my thinking cap. Okay. Because for one thing, Black Bolt, the guy who played Black Bolt, he's now Captain Christopher Pike on that Enterprise, on the new Star Trek Enterprise show.
Okay.
And so they can't bring him back. So it's going to be, at the very least, it's going to be new actors playing the Inhumans. Okay.
Yes. Thank God.
So do they retcon the original Inhumans, or are they recreating the multiverse as a result of what happens in next week in episode 6?
I hope they retcon it. They need to retcon it. Just like the whole those few episodes of Inhuman never existed.
But yeah, this is see again, because Marvel, we're in unfamiliar territory here. You know, I'm not what you'd call an original thinker. Okay, I'm more of a person who synthesizes all the previous stuff into a framework. I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't have a clue. I can't help you here. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't have any idea. Are they going to reboot the Kree too? Because
I mean, to me,
you've hit my limit. You've hit my limit, Wiggins.
Yeah, I understand. And the next thing I want to know is what's going to be the next big thing for Marvel? What's going to be the next Avengers? What's going to be the next Infinity War, or what's going to be the next Endgame? And my theory is,
sorry.
Okay, and my theory is there's going to be something with somehow if they create the Fantastic Four in the end, they bring in Dr. Doom. It's either going to be Doom War, something with Dr. Doom. And my thing is they're probably going to do the Secret War.
Oh, hello. Of course they are. It's the most famous crossover of all time.
Yeah, but the only problem is
they are.
Yeah, but the problem is you will not have Iron Man. We're not going to have Captain America. So they're
We're
going
going to have we're going to have a new Iron Man.
yeah.
We're going to have
a new
a
Iron Man.
they have to, or Iron Woman, or whoever. They're going to
Oh
have
yeah,
to have someone
Ironheart.
in
They're
the
gonna
suit.
create. They're gonna create Ironheart. I
Perfect.
forgot about that.
They have to have someone in the suit. It doesn't matter who it is. They're going to have someone in the suit.
Yeah.
They're gonna have Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
true. I forget. I'm sorry. Please
Yeah.
forgive me. Please
That's
forgive
okay.
me, audience.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So yeah, they're going to have a new. They're going to have a new cast of Avengers, but they're going to be some of the same people.
There's only one part. One part that's going to be probably missing. Are they going to bring back Tom Holland as Spider-Man
Yes.
into this universe? Are they going to bring him back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because his contract is about to be up soon.
Yep. Yes.
With the MCU.
Okay.
Well, MCU Spider-Man, their contract is about to be up.
Yeah. I'm about to go off the reservation here a little bit. Okay. Yes, they're going to. Let me put it like this. Tom Holland. Okay. Here's how I see this going down. Tom Holland is going to be the MCU Spider-Man, but he's also going to be the Venomverse Spider-Man. Okay. He's going to do both of them because Sony is going to want to do other Venomverse movies. He's going to be in them at some point because he is working for Sony. Tom Holland himself. So are you asking me if Tom Holland is going to re-sign the contract? Because I'm pretty sure he is, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't know if you follow the celebrity pages, and I'm afraid I do get Google notifications and Google recommended stories from time to time about the activities. Tom Holland and Zendaya are doing the thing. Okay. They are a thing now.
Well,
so that means Peter Parker and MJ are a couple for reals.
Well, we kind of predicted that was going to happen, but it's
they have incredible chemistry.
Yeah, they got good chemistry. It's just that, I'm just like, meh, I've seen this before. We've seen this before, but
yeah,
it's almost
they're two young kids. They're together a lot.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Little boy's cut. All right. Little boy shredded.
Yes,
Little boy shredded.
Yeah.
He did this challenge where he did a one-handed handstand challenge Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. And Ryan Reynolds did this wonderful video where he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. Yeah. Okay. So look, here's the thing. So Zendaya and him, they're around each other. They're spraying pheromones all over each other. I'm not saying this is a Twilight thing. They're not going to do like this whole Twilight thing where basically the studio paid them to have a relationship. I said it. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do Chris Rock that. I'm going to Chris Rock that. I'm going to Chris Rock that. Yeah. I said it. Yeah. I said it. Yeah. Twilight paid those two to have a relationship. I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh.
The point is, Tom Holland and Zendaya, they're off camera. This whole thing is off camera. They're not. But I think having a chance to work together professionally, I think they get along professionally.
Yeah. I
think they'll do it just to hang out together.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah. So I see the MCU continuing. I see this Venomverse and the MCU sort of following parallel tracks.
Yeah, because to me, it's like this with the multiverse, with Spider-Man No Way Home. I feel like all the they said like all the villains from at least two of the villains were going from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy is going to appear in this movie, and at least about 2 or 3 villains in Andrew Garfield is going to appear in this movie, and I think they're going to have another character. And I feel like they're going to try to add Morbius in this too, if they can, because we remember seeing the trailer that we saw the Vulture, Michael Keaton in there, so that means it's part of the Marvel Cinematic. That means it's like Sony and Marvel Cinematic. I don't know what they did. It's like Marvel and Marvel Studios. Listen, Sony and Marvel Studios must have came up with some kind of deal or something.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to figure out how this whole thing, how they intertwine, how each dimension. It's probably going to be explained if they bring out Morbius, because I've been waiting for that movie to come out for a long time.
What happened to Morbius? We had a trailer and everything. I guess the pandemic. Was it the pandemic? I think
it was the pandemic that ruined it, but I think they were done with the film. It's just that the pandemic kind of put it on hold. Okay. And I think a lot of people almost forgot about it. So they need to rebrand, do the trailer and bring it back.
Recreate interest.
Yeah, because you already
Yeah.
got you already got interest with Venom. Let there be Carnage. You might as well bring out
Yeah.
Morbius, and
Mhm.
then all that's you know what that would be a smart idea if Sony and Marvel actually did this. You could have 3 movies back to back.
I agree.
Like
Absolutely.
October let Morbius come out. November let there be Venom. And, I mean let there be Carnage, and then the third one December Spider-Man No Way Home.
Cool, but when does the Eternals come out? I don't think Marvel will want them to go up against the Eternals.
Oh shoot, Eternals come out. I think it's September or November. No, Shang-Chi comes out September.
Yeah, hold on, I'll look it up.
I think the Eternals come out in November.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to want to go up against the Eternals.
No.
Yeah.
Eternals will smash the hell out of the Morbius.
Oh, you know what? I'm not 100% sure about that. The Eternals is a very esoteric subject matter. Yeah, November 5th. November 5th. It comes out November 5th.
Okay, because the whole thing is with the one thing I see about Morbius, the one thing I see about the Eternals, which we need to talk about in another episode, but we're gonna skim to it. Eternals to me is still confusing because I understand about each character. Because some of these characters aspire Greek mythology or aspire Norse mythology.
And some of them didn't.
And some of them didn't. But my thing is, and a good question is, where the hell were they during Avengers? Where the hell were they during the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame? Because they could have came in and saved the millions of lives, but they did not. And
maybe they got snapped out of existence.
Yeah, maybe they did, but something will have to tell me, something that I had to tell them, hey, we got snapped out of existence. We can't afford for something like this to happen. If this does happen again, we're gonna be we're gonna put the whole world in peril.
Maybe that's what the movie's about.
Yeah, because the whole thing is, because you gotta remember, when Thanos, who is if most people don't know, he is an Eternal.
He is himself. An Eternal. He's a Titanian Eternal. Yeah.
Yeah. If people don't know that, he is an Eternal himself, but he has this deviant bloodstream coming through him, so that's why he looks. That's why he looks more deviant than he looks like an Eternal.
That's right.
If they do it right, it's probably going to be like they're probably going to say the Celestials came in and they said, well, the last time we interfered with man's world, the Celestials told us not to, because otherwise we're in trouble. But the deviants are going to come back to say, and I think that's the whole point. They're going to bring the deviants in and they're going to say, hey, we're going to mix shit up again because everybody has forgotten about us, and the whole world almost forgot about what's been going on. Nobody don't know us except the Eternals. We're just going to mix shit up. We're going to mess shit up.
Well, here's the thing. I sort of see maybe the conflict of the movie is that the Eternals have spent thousands of years just not getting involved. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. I actually have a personal experience with this, okay? Because I used to be on the Star Trek Online Reddit. I used to be actually very active on it. I would do a lot of stuff. But the thing is, over time, people would just keep asking the same questions over and over and over and over and over and over again. I try to help. I try to answer questions. I try to help some noobs. It's the same thing on the game. People would be asking us. It's just the same questions over. And you help one person and maybe they get tired of the game and leave. And then another person comes on. It's this over and over and over and over and over again forever. And at this point, after 1,000 years of this, the Eternals of something like this, they're not on the Star Trek Online Reddit, but the Eternals are like, we keep, maybe in the past they were very active. They made positive changes and they did all this stuff. And then as time went on, all these positive changes just kind of collapsed. And then new things took their place and they had to do it over again. At some point, they're going to say, you know what? I'm just going to sit and chill. I'm just going to let this happen around me. But, they're going along and they're not doing anything. And they're just enjoying the fact that they don't have a stake in, the history of the world. And then suddenly, bam, half the world goes out of existence, because Thanos snaps his fingers. Because the whole idea is, as Samuel Jackson said in the original Avengers movie, basically it's like, when Thor showed up, when all this stuff happened, it was like banging a gong. It was announcing to the universe that Earth was here, and they're part of things now. So now the Eternals are like, well, like it or not, we now have a stake in all this crap that's going on. So we need to maybe do some stuff. We need to make some moves.
Well, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we see Thanos where he he mostly comes to Earth, which is probably like the big thing because all the strong warriors, all the great heroes are on Earth.
And the stones.
Yeah.
He came to Earth for the stones. Yeah.
And all the time, they right there is also it's like when Tony Stark, because you know, like Nick Fury said, everything started because of Iron Man.
Yes.
And everything will end, and mostly everything ended with Iron Man.
With yep, begin and end. Yep.
Yeah, even when we had the epilogue with Spider-Man Far From Home, that I call the epilogue because it's like the last film of the last chapter of Phase 3.
Mm-hmm. By the way, J.K. Simmons being brought back as J. Jonah Jameson.
He's a menace, I tell you. He's a menace.
Magnificent. I screamed. I was watching this and I screamed. Here's the thing, bro. I had a girl on my lap, okay, and I screamed and I woke her up, and that was just like total party foul. But oh my God, I don't regret it at all. J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah.
And I keep on saying, like, even when even though the story was still focused on Spider-Man, there's still a lingering story about Tony Stark, what he left as a legacy. And they keep on thinking like Spider-Man is the legacy of Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Uh-oh. So wait, is Spider-Man going to be Iron Man? Are they going to have wait. Are they going to have Peter Parker as Iron Man and Miles Morales as Spider-Man?
I don't think so. I think
it
will be smart. Right. I mean, like that will be a crazy ass idea because I can imagine.
That's a little left field. Maybe Spider-Girl and Iron Man.
Well, they already have that. They already have that. He already has the field here. Yeah, he already has the Iron Man. He already has the Iron
Spidey. Iron Spidey
suit. And I could see them. You know what? This would be another good way to introduce Miles Morales if they can actually do it.
Well, okay, you know what? I said that it would be a good way to introduce Miles Morales, and I said that, and I'm behind it. But man, I got to tell you, Into the Spider-Verse was life-changing for me. It was so good.
It was a great film.
I don't want Marvel to step on Sony's toes in that regard. I don't want Marvel to see this as some kind of competition where they have to produce their own Miles Morales and their own Gwen Stacy and their own everything else. I just nothing but love for Into the Spider-Verse. It was world changing for me. It was so good. So
this will be a smart idea to introduce both Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy in the same universe as Miles as
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker, but
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, but they're younger.
And
even though we know that Gwen Stacy and Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker, they have a relationship. I feel like they'll be better as friends in this universe. And then
I got to stop you. Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy kind of got together.
Yeah, I know.
Spider-Gwen. Yeah,
Spider-Gwen. I understand this.
But this is the Spider-Gwen who's Peter Parker. Yeah, this is the Gwen Stacy Spider-Man Peter Parker had died much earlier. So anyway, sorry to,
Yeah, and I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Very much so. It's just, I don't want them to mess with Into the Spider-Verse is all I'm saying.
Yeah, like, to me, it's like you could sort of interrupt it, but it's like a different type of, but to me, it's like, it's different.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Like they could, because like I said, Far From Home looks like to me it's probably going to be a sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then they're going to do a Spider-Man Into the Universe second one.
Okay, all right. Oh, so you think Far From Home is going to lead into the second Into the Spider-Verse movie?
Yes, sort of like a prologue.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Sure.